إن الحمد لله وحده الصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم.
The second possibility of awjadatu al-asbab. Now we turn our attention to minute organisms such as mosquito or fly. It is utterly false to assume that nature and most of its elements and causes which are naturally hostile to each other come together intentionally and intelligently to make this fly. For example, the organism consists of elements such as magnesium, iron, oxygen, hydrogen, some of which are reactive with each other. Technically speaking, bringing these elements together normally results in a violent chemical reaction such as burning or explosion. Yet they exist in organisms side by side without any trouble. One of the best examples of this is the chemical formation of water. We know that water is comprised of two basic elements, and the chemical formula of water is H2O, two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. We know that hydrogen, when we see the properties of hydrogen separately, what is the main property of hydrogen? It's highly combustible. It is highly flammable. Hydrogen, the very characteristic with the very property of hydrogen, it is highly flammable. And on the other hand, oxygen, what is the main property of the oxygen? It helps in combustion. Without the presence of oxygen, combustion won't take place. So it helps the combustion to take place. So these are two elements. Both have their own specific inherent properties. And when we see their properties, and when they are put together, and they are the reactions. And sometimes when these elements are put together, they lead to the burning, or at times they lead to the explosion as well. So the question here is, in this huge lab or the pharmacy of universe, there are many things. There are many elements with their own specific properties. When they are fused together, when they are bonded together, which we call chemical bonding. So this chemical bonding, or the bonding of the elements, the fusion of the elements, they are the reactions. Now the question here is, what the atheists maintain, that it is again a series of causes that maintain this reaction. Example of hydrogen and oxygen. Our present day knowledge establishes that hydrogen highly combustible, oxygen helps in combustion. So when they are put together, they should have been all burning. But when a certain measurement, when they are measured properly, and certain amount of oxygen is there and certain amount of hydrogen is there, they are neutralized. They give birth to another property. But in order to reach that level where they lose their inherent property, what is inherent property of hydrogen? What is inherent property of oxygen? When they are fused together, but joining at a specific level with specific proportion, where they lose the property and they give birth to another property. You see, we use the water to extinguish the fire. The substances which are highly combustible help us in combustion. When they are fused together, but the way they are fused together, they are bonded together in a specific way, specific amount is joined together, then we find that the same element is used to extinguish the fire, to put the fire off. NASA, as we know that oxygen is the essential gas for burning, we know this, as I discussed this before. NASA uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen to create a combustion reaction to launch rockets into space. But in the formation of water molecules, these two reactive substances can stay together to form a new substance, which exhibits and demonstrates a complete set of different properties. So question here is that in order to bring them together, to fuse them in a close harmony, so that we have another substance of different properties. So it needs the intelligence, it needs the proper calculation, minutest calculations it needs. The question here is, so it means all these things which we have in this universe, in this pharmacy, this huge pharmacy of this universe, it means that there's a series of these chances, series of these causes, series of these chances which maintain this calculation. And then again, I said, it's not only the proper measurement, proper proportion, the minutest calculations. Besides, we need a required conditions of temperature, required conditions of the pressure. So they have to also collaborate with these things. So you mean to say that they collaborate with each other and they are blind, they are unintelligent, they don't know, but still they come up with the results which are highly baffling and surprised, where you don't find any sort of discrepancy, where you don't find any sort of fault or fiber. It is all perfect in its best form and design. And this best form and best design is only possible through a series of chances, unending causes, a number of causes, a drawn out process of causes that maintain all this, the fabric of this creation. It is absurd to accept. Only those people will accept such argument whose rational capabilities have ceased to take a right form or right direction. The man with the reason. That's why I always say that the overwhelming majority of the scientists, thinkers, philosophers, theorizers, and intellectuals, they believe that there is one creator. Because the creation is not in its haphazard form, and it is randomly just put together, randomly assembled, with no consideration towards these minutest calculations. No, at every step, at every level, there are baffling considerations, there are baffling calculations, minutest calculations, which were figured out, and they were highly calibrated. And if there were any minutest differences in these calculations, the results would have been altogether different. It's because of the proper we can say the proper procedure, the proper calculation, proper calibration, and then the highest highest calibrated calculations that made these things possible to happen. So this was deadly impossible to happen, and so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the things with certain properties, and these properties itself show certain characteristics and outcomes. So we can see that there's one intelligent creator behind this intelligent design, this intelligent universe, and without which we cannot have the concept. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe. There's the first argument, or the first postulate, which says that awjadatu al-asbab. Awjadatu al-asbab means that the causes brought this universe into existence. A series of chances brought this universe into existence. And so the naturalist philosophy, or we can say the opposing view, they claim that the collaboration of sufficient causes as a result of chance is the reason behind the existence of beings in the universe. In other words, naturalists assume that nature and its constituents are within every organism. That is, each and every organism is the maker or creator of itself. This is an idea which which we can say, which we cannot accept, and which is utterly absurd. And the only viable, rational, acceptable argument is that we need to, that everything has to be attributed to the all-powerful and all-glorious one, who is a single one of unity, and who is a single, we can say, the single and lone reality of this universe, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is He who brought this into existence. And lastly, we discuss about the third impossibility of the first argument. What is first argument? I repeat it again. First argument says that أوجدته الأسباب, the universe has been created by certain causes, a series of causes, a series of chances, blind chances. And these blind chances, series of chances, gave birth to this universe. So we have discussed the three impossibilities, two impossibilities. So far there are three impossibilities. Now we are going to discuss about the third impossibility regarding this first postulate. And so we split the third impossibility into two parts. The first part, we discuss about the argument of unity and continuity in organism. If random reasons in nature created the organisms, they would come in various shapes with completely different properties. However, we observe consistency in organisms. For example, every species in nature always has the same biochemical and physical characteristics. The example of a painter is a very good analogy with which to explain this argument. Imagine different artists are asked to paint the same object. Say there are, for example, 100 or there are 1 million artists. And these 1 million artists they are asked to just draw the image of a tree. They will show, and they will be given the description of the tree as well. So when they draw the image, when they show their artistry upon the canvas, by the end of the day, when all the artists have done their job, so do we expect that all these, though we give them the description, all the description of the tree, that this should be the description of the tree, you need to just draw this type of tree. Do you think that after they have done their job, by the end of the day, that these 1 million, these images or the paintings will show the same nature of the tree? It is deadly impossible. However, if you see, on the other hand, so that's what I said when we imagine about this thing. So on the basis of their ability, expertise, and artistic sense, they would paint differently. Because the level of the skill, the level of understanding, the level of, we can say, the artistic sense, and their imagination, power of imagination, this all varies from one artist to other artist. So this is deadly impossible that after they have done their job, that by the end of the day we will have the 1 million images of the trees and they're all identical and similar. Not possible. As there is a difference in their power of imagination, difference in the skills, difference in the expertise, difference in the field, difference in the artistic sense. Likewise, if we see very similar paintings, now this is the second case. Second case is we see the similar paintings. There's no any difference. All the paintings are identical. All the images are identical, similar. And we can conclude that they have all been painted by the one artist, by the same artist. When there is similarity, we say yes, it's a work of one artist. But when the images are different, then it means there is no one artist. There are many artists. That's why the first argument I said, we base upon the unity and continuity in organisms. Now you take the example of the human beings. All the human beings are having the same pattern, same physiology, same anatomy. The only difference is in our thinking part. The level of intelligence varies, the level of contemplation, the level of comprehension, the level of understanding varies from one person to other person. Actually, it is, and however, there is all the individuals, all the human beings are having the capability to think. That's why biologically we are known as Homo sapiens, man capable of thinking. So we are able to think. And it is on the basis of this thinking capability we shall be asked on the day of judgment. That's what makes us responsible and accountable before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, we could have been other objects of this universe, stagnant. The only difference would have been that they are stagnant, we could have been just movable. But what makes us distinguish it from them is our power of imagination, our power of thinking, our power of intellectual propensities. So this makes us responsible as well. But as far as our physiology is concerned, our anatomy is concerned, the cell structure is concerned, it is all the same. The cell of one human being is cell. So it is similar in all the human beings. There is no any difference. However, there are certain things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, despite having this similarity, 99.999% similarities, there's a fraction of dissimilarity among the human beings. You see, if it is a goddess of chance, I call it always the goddess of chance. If these are the random forces, blind forces, unintelligent energy that brought this universe or these human beings into existence. So despite having all these similarities and the continuity and the unity in our structure, in our physiology, in our anatomy, but there are still few things which are not identical. Like the human retina is different. Even the twins who are born from the same mother, from the same womb, they don't have the identical retina. Why? Because each and every single human being has its own individual existence. On the other hand, if you see any other objects of the universe, you see the fruits, the apples, the mangoes, the bananas, similar. As far as the classes are concerned, one class having the similar structure, no difference at all. You see the animal kingdom, you see the bird kingdom, you see the insects. There's a baffling unity and continuity in the organisms, in the objects of this universe. However, as far as the human beings are concerned, 99.999% are similar and identical, but the fraction is a different. That is the human retina, our hand impressions. They are different. Why? Because each and every single human soul is supposed to be responsible for his own particular actions and deeds. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. No bearer of burden shall bear the burden of others. We are individually responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in the Quran, everyone has to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala individually. That's why the difference is there. Just 7.5 billion people on the surface of the planet. And so far, millions and billions and trillions of people have passed so far. But no two retina are identical. Even I said that even twins, there has been many investigations to find out whether the twins are having the same retina or not, but they are not having the same retina. They are not having the same the fingerprints. Why? Bala qadirina ala an nusawwiya banana. We are capable enough not only to create you, rather to bring back your fingerprints in its existence. So the continuity and the unity in the universe and the objects and in the different parts of this universe, it suggests us that there is one creator who brought each and every species, who brought it into existence in a beautiful manner. That there is no any incoherence, there is no any disharmony, and there is no any contradiction. As far as the elemental level is concerned, different elements are put together, they have their own physical, chemical properties, and they show their reactions while fusing with others, bonded with others. But how this universe, how these elements have been beautifully fused together. And then there is a unity and coherence in it. There is a unity and continuity in it. And this is not at one level. This is right from the smallest part of the universe until the largest part of the universe. You find this unity and coherence, this continuity. So this suggests us that there's only one who put all these things in its appropriate form. So it is concluded that an intelligent artist, without an intelligent artist, the universe would have to be completely messy and chaotic, the completely opposite of how it is now. This is, we can say, this is an indication of the same intelligent maker, not the product of random causes of nature. And the second part of this, our argument, second part of the third impossibility is that the internal complexity of organisms. One is our physical characteristics. Second is our internal complexity of organisms. And when we see, there's more technical complexity inside the organisms where the material causes of nature cannot reach. Evolutionary biologists object to this on the ground that nature can manipulate the exterior of organisms as well as the interior. But when we see the amazing and baffled structure of the DNA, and then with the molecular structure, and we go deep into the molecular structure, there's amazing minutest calculations brought into consideration. Without those minutest calculations, the structure would have altogether been different. We could not have it the way it is. And there was one biologist, Michel Behe. He wrote a book in 1996, Darwin's Black Box. Darwin's Black Box. And he defines his term irreducible complexity. There's a complexity within which cannot be reduced. That's why he used the word irreducible complexity. This is a single system which is composed of several interacting parts that contribute to the basic function, and where the removal of any one of the parts causes the system to effectively cease functioning. So our internal structure, our internal system has been brought into existence in such a way that they are working together. If one of the elements is taken out, the whole system will not function. A simple example, just in the human body, take out the heart. Can a person without the heart exist? Definitely not. You take out the 2 kidneys out of a human body. Do you think that the person will exist? You take out the human brain fully, the person won't exist. So these are the vital things, and they are so much complex. When we go through when we investigate the nature, the construction, and the physiology or anatomy of these organs or these limbs, one is totally baffled and surprised. So we can simply say that it is not the causes or series of chances that helped the human organism, the human body, the internal organisms, the internal organs to develop in such a way. And there are certain vital organs without which the human life could not exist. And they are coordinating with each other. It's a complete coordination and control within the whole body. So who brought this coordination and control into existence? Who put them together? Now we have 2 arguments, either a series of chances, with no mind, with no brain, with no intelligence, or blind energy, or blind forces that brought it into existence. But our human reason won't accept this because we have not seen such things happening around. Then there is only one argument with us, that is, it is Al-Mujidu huwa Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. The originator is the one whom we call as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the creator, whom Aristotle says the first cause, the mover. that He is the one who brought all these things into existence. So these are the three impossibilities which we discuss about the first postulate. And first postulate, I just conclude on this, is that أوجدته الأسباب, that the causes create the things. So there are three impossibilities which we discuss. And then there are two other postulates. Second postulate is that تشكل بنفسه, that this universe came into existence of its own. There was no need of series of chances, rather all of a sudden it came into existence. So that is the second postulate. And the third postulate is اقتضته الطبيعة, the nature creates the things, that we call the naturalists. The rest of the other two postulates, we discuss them inshallah in another session. Jazakumullah khairah. Inshallah, see you inshallah in another session in which we discuss about the other two postulates. That is tashakkala bi nafsihi, that this universe was spontaneously created without any external agency or external force. And the third one, that is iqtadatu at-tabi'a, that it is the nature that created the universe, that caused this universe to happen or come into being. So we discuss this inshallah in our next session. Till then, subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallah wa bihamdi, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.